Hi, Patrick here from
Oh,
Full Point Games. My back at the moment is quite bad, so I'm going to do something simpler. It's a slideshow of a hike I did across Ireland in 2018. Quite interesting. You'll see along it, I took a long while because I had a lot of drink, you will see in it. So it took a lot longer than it had to, but it really helped me become the insane person I am today. So I hope you enjoy this, and let's just get going. I started on the 22nd of March. I finished on the 21st, so just under a month of walking. Probably could have done it in 2 weeks, but I had a lot of drink. You'll you'll find out on the way. So hopefully this isn't too bad, but we'll get going. So this is the gear I had. Just camping equipment, medical equipment, water bags, towels, a small towel that I could roll up, a pedometer, and a couple of cooking ware. The orange box had my really handy, I'll show it to you here, my cooking pot. So there was like a standing stove. Very good, packed away very small. Still use it when the power is out of my house. I'll still cook with it. This is my tent. It's very good. I made a few mistakes, but the tent was no problem. Easy to repair when I broke something. I'm very happy. This is my carrying bag. I was close to 30 kg. I did shed some weight along the way, I will tell you that, but very it worked out very well. I still use that small red bag. The other bag kind of broke. I don't really do big hikes anymore. If you know my story, I've a bad back. Can't really be doing them much at the moment, but we might try smaller hikes. I might live stream them in the future. So this is where I was staying in Cork. When I got to Cork, I got a bus from Ennis to Cork. I got myself well drunk the first day, as as you should do before you do any big endeavors. Get really hungover for your start of your walk. It's me on the bus to Castletownbere. There should be some maps of me doing stuff in the background or showing you the route I took. So the long trek begins. I thought I wouldn't be able to make it. It turns out I'm just really hungover. I had some porridge and been much better. 24 kilometers to walk. Well, 22 now. Oh, actually, 23. It's on that sign right there. Oh, Mary, help me indeed. We're just leaving Castletownbere. I did a short walk that day. I was dying of a hangover. Beautiful dramatic scenery in this part of the world. It's the Beara Peninsula in Cork. So I found a Buddhist temple retreat and meditation center and donkey sanctuary. Very strange group of things. That's looking off. The donkey sanctuary is just behind that hill there, but it's beautiful. That was the night I arrived. This was the morning. And the lovely friendly cat I was petting for a long while. I spent longer than I thought I would here. I was going to get up early, but I had a free meditation session. But I could not find that meditation session by the time I found it. I didn't want to walk in and interrupt. So I left it at that. Yeah, that's the donkey sanctuary earlier I showed you. Day two. A nice sunny day. It's a bit overcast now, but it was quite warm this morning. Stayed at a Buddhist temple or meditation center. I was walking, I was going to go all the way to Jersey, but I saw a Buddhist temple on top of a mountain, so you had to go up there. They had accommodation, so I stayed the night. I went to the wrong place this morning and missed my meditation, but I set out and enjoyed the beautiful views. Yeah, good time. Beautiful view in front of me. Hair's going by. There's the view. There's the sun. Mirror side. Right. So I was so good at recording at the beginning. That drops off almost immediately. I think this is the last vlog. I might have more, but they went on WhatsApp and I lost the videos. But I was doing quite well. Uh, so we're on our way to my start point to the walk, which is Jersey Island. I took lots of pictures. Lovely dramatic area of the country. I got confused in one of my recordings. I had to start again. I thought I was going to. I kind of went back on myself the next day. But it's grand. Look at this, beautiful. I think there was crabs in that pool when I was looking. Beautiful, dramatic scenery. Absolutely stunning. There's a dolmen. That's a Neolithic tomb. They're all over Ireland, especially in the Burn. I think there's some famine houses in the background on that mountain, if I remember correctly. They're old abandoned buildings when the Great Hunger was, the Irish potato famine hit Ireland. Look at that, beautiful scenery. That's what the American tourists come here to see. So, I went across on a cable car, and this is my first night camping. You can see a mistake I made with my tent. I had the zipper open, and when I put the pegs in the ground, I didn't realize this, but I put the pegs in the ground, it was too wide open. When I tried to zip it, I broke the zipper. My first time using it on the way out. I made many mistakes here. I was on the side of a hill, but there was a bit of a dip underneath me, so I woke up covered in water. I was much more careful with my ground selection after this. It was uneven. I was rolling to the side of the tent all night. The whole place was covered in lamb shit, but I don't think I had an option. This island is quite small. I believe there was a tiny population. There's 2 houses on it. There was no one on it, I believe, when I went across. I asked if I could camp on it. They said, as long as you don't disturb anything, it's fine. Those rocks, I used that as a table, and I had my first beans and sausage meal there. But it was a miserable night. This is about 5 in the morning when I woke up. It's probably later. Maybe that was that night. Yeah, no, this is at night. Sorry, this is going into night. This is in the morning when I woke up, waiting for the first cable car to come across because I had a miserable night and I just wanted to get going. This is right on the edge, so I wasn't going to those places, thankfully. So this is a good time to tell you, this is the E8 walk, it's called. It goes right across Ireland from Cork to Marley Park in Dublin. So you just follow the yellow signs, all the yellow signs in Ireland, or the yellow walking signs on the way, or the E8 walk, it would say E8 every so often. So it's the Barrow way you start off on. This is me kind of going back on myself. I think this is another side of a picture that I showed earlier. I'm going to a place called Achilles. There's famine houses there. That's I believe that's near the dolmen that was behind us, the dolmen from earlier. The landscape here was amazing. I'd say if you're a cyclist, I don't like cycling myself, but it must be fantastic for cycling, or a motorcyclist even. So this is my first day. I stayed in B&B. I tried to do one every 2 or 3 nights to recharge my electronics and battery pack and dry my clothes. I would just rinse my socks in a tap and with soap and then just hang them up to dry. They were woolen socks, so they didn't take too long. Turns out I'm allergic to wool. I do have eczema, and my feet were burning at one point. I believe I have a feet pick. I'm giving them away for free later on coming up. This is this area here. Yeah, this is Achilles. Beautiful, beautiful little town. I loved it here. It was foggy one morning. I think I set off early one morning. Yes, there was copper mines all around this area. So mine shafts and copper mines. I had some pictures from inside, but my video was getting too long, so I decided to just keep on moving. This area was fantastic. Again, I'm using the same adjectives, but dramatic, windy, wild. It's called the Wild Atlantic Way for a reason. Look at that. Lots of pictures from this area. Lots of sheep. Some horses. Some paths just brought you through random fields. Only once was near Wicklow. Here's me looking great. Carry the bag in the front. I thought worked great because it kind of balanced me out. I had a lot of weight in the front. When you're carrying a lot of weight, it's a way. But I at one point, I believe near Clonmel, I met up with someone from Ennis who was passing by, and they took a lot of my extra clothes I didn't need. I had like a big woolly jacket for the cold, but I wasn't cold. I was walking all day. I never got cold, so my rain jacket did well with a jumper underneath it. I'm going to Castle Kelly. Lovely spot here. Yes, I followed this road going down here. Absolutely stunning walk. Some scenery. Lots of rivers. Now we're in a place called, I believe it's pronounced Eyeries. Beautiful, beautiful town. It had all these colourful buildings, which I loved. It's in Cork as well, but it reminded me of Cove. If you ever go to Cove in Cork, they have kind of similar colourful building, but it's a lot smaller. I'm sure there'll be a lot less tourists, but in the summer, everywhere in Ireland is full of tourists. But it has my favourite camping spot that I've ever camped in my life here. It was amazing. So this is where I camped. There was a log. There was like a sandy area, just a square where you could put your camp. Really helped with drainage. Lovely flat. Um, the view was stunning. Look at this wall here. I'm showing you there. There's a natural pool here where I took a dip at night and in the morning again. And here, this wall, it stopped the wind from really hitting you. But it was a fine night anyway. It wasn't too windy. But the waves would hit up against it all night. It was just the most relaxing time. I've said I'd go back here again, and I keep on saying it, and I never do it. It's such a long drive to get there. But I said I'd bring my girlfriend. I said I'd bring many girlfriends there. They've come and gone, but I've always wanted to go back here. Um, Absolutely stunning. Areas along the beach. I believe when I show the map over this, I know a rough area where it was. Beautiful area. Now this is 7 years ago. I would really recommend coming here. It was just so peaceful. There we go. That's without the tent. We moved on. We were getting to another B&B soon enough. Here's the B&B. I remember this bed to be very uncomfortable even. So the night before I had a lovely comfortable stay beside in my tent, and I went to a very uncomfortable bed. So I went to three B&Bs in Cork. All three of them were run by a lady called Mary O'Sullivan, and they all have a husband called John. So I did three B&Bs, and all of them were run by Mary O'Sullivan. That's where the O'Sullivan name comes from, but I thought it was just insane. They offered to bring me out collecting oysters. They were very nice people. I really enjoyed them. I wanted to get off early, so I didn't have a chance to go collecting oysters, but I would stay there. The bed was uncomfortable, but everything else was fantastic. Oh, the fry in the morning. Every fry I had in Cork was fantastic. Here is an ossel, a donkey. There's some heather. The buds are coming out. They weren't as out at the beginning, even though it's just 2 days difference. This river lapping was beautiful. I remember it. The picture isn't the best, but the river, the noise was fantastic. I wish I recorded it. Here's another view. You can see how early in the year it is. The daffodils are just about to come, or just popping out. Lovely white snowdrop daffodils. This is a pub in Ardcroom, I believe it was called. There was barely anyone there, so I just played Scrabble with the owners of the pub and drank Murphy's. And it's when I decided, I know this is sacrilege, but I think Guinness is a nicer stout than Murphy's. But I think Beamish is a nicer stout than Guinness. So you can argue all you want with me. That's just how I feel. I've drank a lot of all three of them. Beamish has a lovely nutty flavour. Guinness has a kind of just smoother, and Murphy's has like almost a metallic taste, or I don't know. It's like electric. I'm not too fond of it. I'm sorry, Cork people. Although Beamish is brewed in Cork as well, I believe. This is a lovely quay. I sat here, had my lunch. Beautiful walk. We're coming up to Kenmare now, I believe. We're coming into Kerry. This is the estuary between Cork and Kerry. Oh, no, this is coming into the estuary. It has to be my favorite picture. I think this was my background for years. I have two swans there, and they seem to be the Kerry Mountains. Coming into a very famous part of Ireland, the Ring of Kerry, well, close to the Ring of Kerry. It's where the tallest mountain in Ireland is, Carrick-on-Suir. This is the estuary here. I sat here for a good long while enjoying the view. Yeah, we're coming up to Kenmare. I took a lot of pictures around here. The scenery was beautiful. Yeah, this is the estuary here. It's me and Kenmare. I got very drunk this night, and I believe someone took my debit card off me to stop me from drinking more. They told me to come back in the morning to collect it. This is me the next day, dying of a hangover. I met up with a friend in Kenmare, that's why I got so drunk. But he left early, he had to work, and I just kept on going. I stayed in a B&B that, or an Airbnb that night. I cannot remember who, but they knew my brother-in-law. They went to school with him. Yeah, that's me leaving the next day, not realizing I didn't collect my debit card, which I really should have. This is going over the Old Kenmare Road, which is one of the best walks. It takes a day. It was tough enough, a lot of hill walking, especially with heavy bags. I had to find a stick to use to help me, but I was dying of hangover. But there was lovely rivers where you hop over stones with ropes going across them, and that's a fantastic walk. It got very, very steep at certain points. Yeah, so you walk across little rock areas like that. Lovely holly tree here. Funny shape, I believe. Yeah, see there's kind of path going across the rocks there. I wouldn't have done that one. That's quite a high, slippy drop, but I think that was a path that people took. That was halfway through walking across stone pebbles. So I got a picture in the middle of the river. What a beautiful place Kerry is. Only the people were nicer in Kerry. No, they're fine. I'm joking. Uh, Everyone in Ireland hates Kerry for some reason. Who knows why? It's another camping spot. I believe this is me leaving Killarney. Or was this before Killarney? I think this is me leaving Killarney. Yes, sorry. So yeah, this was halfway between. So this is me leaving Killarney at a lovely camp house. We're on the way to Mallow now, I believe. This is from a show that my dad loved, was Only Fools and Horses. I found it on the way. Driving past this a couple of times now. But it's lovely. That's funny. This looks just like Willow. This is in Mallow. I believe it was the Hibernian Hotel. What I learned, these are all Mallow for the next while. What I learned in the Hibernian Hotel, there was a wedding on, and I did not know this, but you can just drink all night at a residence bar. Some albino deer here. So I was up until 6 or 7, and I had to leave at 11. So the next day, walking was horrific. There was a lovely wooden throne. There was a couple of these throne sculptures in Mallow Castle. I'm sure it has a different name. I'll call it the castle in Mallow. I went to a lovely restaurant. I can't think of the name. It was like the Stag and Hare. It was right beside the castle on the corner. Delicious, delicious food. Quite expensive, but delicious. Probably only gotten more expensive since. Yeah, this is the beers that I found out were I could drink all night, and I was up with a wedding party drinking in the Hibernian Hotel all night. Oh my God, I was dying. So this is Castletown Roach. I found a lovely chipper here, and I waited. Remember taking ages, but I was having fun petting the cat and recovering from a hangover. Hangovers aren't too bad when you walk all day, though. They affect you at the beginning, but then you kind of walk through them if you have enough water. And yeah, we left Castletown Roach, and we're going to Millstreet, is it? Oh, totally skipped Millstreet. Well, I'll talk about Millstreet. I loved Millstreet. I stayed there for a couple of days. I was actually getting a cold, so I stayed for 3 days in a hotel in Millstreet. I think it was called the Millstreet Hotel. Everyone there was so nice. They gave me free pints of Guinness while I was there. Everyone was lovely. I would recommend anyone go to Mill Street. There's not much there. It was really windy from what I remember. It was like a alleyway and all, or like a wind funnel, and all the wind would go down the main street. I think there was a dog food factory there or some sort of animal feed factory there. There wasn't much there, but the people really made that town. I had so many good chats with everyone there, and I loved them. To a town that's not as nice, Clonmel. It's lovely, but it just feels empty. It was like there was no one living there. Everything was shut down. Um, I believe I might have passed for Moy at some point as well on this walk. But yeah, it's strange old place. Here are my steps. I found out when I did the maths at the end, this wasn't really taking all my steps. Must have been skipping a few or I had on something bouncy, but it didn't give half the amount of steps that I should have. This is in Tipperary here. I remember this walk really well because I was just walking along. I look up and there was a stag standing there with big antlers staring at me. And I was like, this is majestic. It was like the old pound coin, if you remember it. And then I watched him for a couple of minutes or a couple of seconds, felt like minutes. And I tried to take out my phone, and as soon as I looked down, he was gone. But that was lovely. This is a lovely walk here. These are all Christmas trees, I believe. Some rhododendrons, invasive rhododendrons there in the corner. Absolutely lovely area. An old gypsy wagon needed to be done up. Recommend so fresh it feels like you're on top of a mountain. As you can see, my jokes were always bad. Even 7 years ago, my jokes are terrible. Just more countryside. These are my beautiful feet. You can see the design of the woolen socks I had. I mean, some people pay good money for that. This is Clonmel. This is the view from my hotel. Couldn't get an Airbnb. I had to wait here. I had to wait for my dad to deliver me my debit card that arrived in the post. So I was dealing with cash. I'll say one thing about Killarney. I kind of skipped over Killarney. I went into a hostel in Killarney and I had no money. So I gave them my passport and said, "Can you give me a night for free? Because it was Sunday and I need to go to the bank. Give me a night for free, and I'll go to the bank in the morning. You can keep on to this ID, and I'll get the money and give it back in." And they were so nice; they let me do it. I was very happy with them, and I just got a load of cash to deal with the rest of the walk until I got to Clonmel. It's fantastic. I didn't really need much. I would have enough food for 3 days always, and I was being quite frugal. Besides the price of pints, I was being very frugal. It's a lovely art installation in Clonmel. One of the nicer things. That is somewhat famous. Who it is, I don't know. You can guess. Yeah, besides the pints. I remember going to a folk band. They were called Folklore. Very nice. I got a CD off them. I have the CD somewhere sitting around here. Who owns a CD player anymore? Who knows? But they're called Folklore. They're very nice. I stayed up drinking with them all night. So again, very, very tired. My pace was, oh, it took me about 2 weeks to get to Killarney. And then it took me 2 weeks to do the rest of Ireland. So my pace really sped up after Killarney. It was very mountainous around then, difficult terrain. I wasn't used to hiking. This is kind of the first hike I did, so wasn't quite used to it. I was living off these bars. Like when I got hungry, I'd just have one or two. Walking on the road, 2 horses. Ireland. Yeah, seeing horses. Okay, so this is a beautiful walk. I would recommend this one. If you could get a lift back after the walk, it takes about a day. This is the Bachelor's Tower. This walk is between Clonmel and Carrick-on-Suir. It was a nice flat walk along the river. I was looking in the water for otters all day. I didn't see any, unfortunately. It was lovely. The only downside was I almost got knocked over a couple of times by people on bikes because they were going. But I was talking to my neighbor who said that this is closed down now, but it was just opened, I think, when I started doing it. It looked brand new, at least. So someone might update me on that, but it was a fantastic walk. I loved every second. It was a lovely hot day. I didn't take many pictures. I just kept on going, enjoying the view. Here's another. There was like towers, watchtowers between them. I think this is between two counties. Is it Waterford? I'm not too sure which county it's between. But Tipperary and Waterford, I would assume. And it was absolutely stunning. This walk is well worth it. If you can go from Carrick-on-Suir to Clonmel and get a bus back or vice versa, it is a really nice walk. I'd say it's easy enough for most of the family past maybe 7 years old. They should all be able to do this walk. It was nice and flat, lovely. Coming into Carrick-on-Suir. Stayed night here. I didn't take too long. I had like 1 or 2 pints. I was pretty exhausted, so I just went to bed early. Lovely swan here. It's a nice little town. Pig unit, oink oink motherfuckers. Truly Irish. The Truly Irish is an in-joke between me and my friend, and I think the mania was coming in at this point. Well, I think the mania came in when I was a lot younger, but I think I was going a bit crazy, being on my own, drinking and walking all day. Here's a baby calf, the dirty bummed cow. Here are the steps at the moment, but again, totally off. Oh, this was awful. It's like a 1 foot deep step. I was out of socks. I had to. Oh my God, I remember this day was so bad, and I was miserable. And I was going to camp, but I said if I had no clean socks, so I ended up getting Airbnb, or was it a hotel? Cannot remember. This is Kilkenny in Cork. I think it was in Cork. This was like something from. I didn't think a place like this in Ireland existed. It just feels like something that an American made up thinking about Ireland. It's beautiful. This picture does not do it justice. It was like you're coming off a mountain, you come around the corner, and it's just a valley with a village in it. So beautiful. I love this place. I had some food here. It's a fantastic little village. I think Americans would love this place the most. This walk was gorgeous as well. I remember it reminded me of the Carrick-on-Suir part, but lovely little walk here. Uh, an old boat. Yeah, just going crazy. I think we're going into Carlow now. And Carlow was the one part I did a day walk across Carlow, couldn't find anywhere to camp. Foggy, rainy. I hated every moment of Carlow. I'm sorry, but it was awful. I remember so foggy I couldn't see the signs. I think this explains it. All day like that. My jacket didn't let any water in except for in Carlow. It rained non-stop. My pants let water in. They got filled with water to empty them every so often. Miserable. And I believe this is in Bunclody, but I kind of look like your man from the Wet Bandit from Home Alone. Who's that Pokemon? It's Glowhamon. Okay, really going crazy here. You know I'm a 90s kid now. Lovely area. Oh, who's that? Who's that? Oh my god! Is that who it is? There was a spring coming out of the road. Oh, there was a lot of road walking after Bunclody for a while, and my shin splints were really bad. But Bunclody isn't on the walk. I went out of my way to meet up with a friend, and more drinks had, more hangover walks. But I think I was used to it by now. Little drop. We'll just move on. Just move on after that. Anyway, we're coming into the Wicklow Mountains here, I believe. Lovely, lovely part. Another great walk. I would give myself 3 days next time I do the Wicklow Mountains. I rushed through them. There's like a little. I put the video in twice. This area, I stayed the night out here, and I decided I never did outdoor camping or sleeping under the stars. I said, there's a little hut here, I'll do that. So this had like water reservoir where I boil the water and put it in my water bottle, or rain reservoir, and I slept under the hut in the thing. I said, this would be nice. Freezing cold. Oh my God, I thought I'd be fine, but it was so cold. Um, the other thing is there was army exercises, I think. There was gunshots all night. It was very difficult to sleep. I was up early going on in the morning just to keep on moving. I had a miserable night there, but it was a beautiful view. And if you weren't an idiot like me, I would recommend it. Yeah, this is the night before, I believe, just down that hill is where the explosions were coming from. Look at the fog rolling in. Beautiful. We're moving on through the Wicklow Mountains. A lot of logging happening at the time with Quilcha. Yeah, more people were coming and hiking. I started very early, late March. Well, it's cool, but you could be rained upon constantly. Even in April, you'd be rained upon constantly. I was very lucky with the weather. I would start later in the year. It would be busier, but hey, that's the round tower of Glendalough. So we're coming into Glendalough. Beautiful part. I had no water at this point. I was so thirsty going in. It was a really hot day, actually. And I couldn't find anywhere to stay. I usually checked, well, like when I was about 10 kilometers away or an hour away or something like that, I would check where I was going to stay that night when I got tired, and there was nowhere anywhere near where I was, so I had to get a bus across to Roundwood, I believe it's called, and I stayed in a guest house there, and then I got a bus back in the morning and continued my walk. Um, Leahy, I think I got the bus from and went back to, but yeah, it was difficult. Here I sat on this hill for almost 2 hours. Had a packet of potatoes and a Coke, and watched two red kites. I think they were either mating or fighting. I don't know, but they grab on their claws and spiral down. It was fantastic. I know red kites are rare in Ireland. I think they were reintroduced, but I couldn't. It's the only thing that I think they were. I think they were amazing anyway, but this was a wonderful day. I think I was a good long time here, resting and enjoying myself. I was again very hungover. Story of this whole walk, very hungover. This is why it took me a month. I'd say I could have done it in 2 weeks if I didn't drink. And I probably could have done it a lot cheaper as well. But I think it cost me 1,500 this whole month going across. The B&Bs were about €50 each, and then hotels were more expensive. And in Killarney, the uh, hostels, I stayed in hostels, but I stayed in a room on my own. I think it was like €45. It wasn't too bad. So we're still going through the Wicklow Mountains here. We're coming up to Loch Tay. Yeah, here's Loch Tay. So this is where the Guinness house was, or the Guinness is the people who make Guinness own this. They imported in white sand to make this lake look like a Guinness. Who knows why? That's the story, at least. It might be apocryphal, but apocryphal, but that's what I'm told. It seems to be right. There would be no reason for sand to be at this lake. Otherwise, I would assume. I believe we're kind of across from Greystones and Bray here. My family, well, I wasn't born in Greystones, but my brother was born when our family was living in Greystones, so we used to visit there quite a bit. Beautiful part of Ireland. I wanted to camp around here, but it was too early in the day. I said I'd keep on going. This is Powerscourt. This is Powerscourt Waterfall. I was watching Wednesday this year, and I believe they were at Powerscourt for one point. At one point, was it the camp? I can't remember. But they were going around. I remember Powerscourt. That looks like Powerscourt. There's a hotel there. It's lovely. That waterfall special somehow. I can't remember. Might be the tallest waterfall in Ireland. I'm not too sure. I've never actually been down there. I've only been up on this hill overlooking it. Beautiful area around here. Now, this is near Johnny Fox's, if I remember, close enough to Johnny Fox's. I kept on going. Okay, we end because I believe the last time I stopped was in Glendalough. I did the rest of this in one day, and I think it's about 60 kilometers. It was a tough, tough walk, and I did a lot of it at night with my headlamp on. I ran out of water, so I met a guy who was doing training for a marathon, and he passed me in the near the morning, and then he passed me again when it was still dark. And I just stopped him and went, by any chance, do you have any water? It's like, no, not on me. But I'll leave a bottle for you. And I still have the bottle there. He left it at the car park overlooking Dublin. This is my first sight of Dublin. But I had my headlight on and moths were flying around the headlight. And every so often a bat would fly directly into my head and just hit me in the head. It happened 3 or 4 times. And then I kept on going, and every so often I glimpsed two eyes coming out of the forest. And I turn on my big light, and it'd be a deer just staring at me, and the reflective eyes would be coming at me. we're coming up to the end here. It's lovely Dublin. This is the car park, I believe, the entrance into the Dublin Mountains. I did most of the Dublin Mountains at night. Me coming up to Marley Park, the end of the walk. It wasn't over. I tried to get a hotel. It turns out there was a rugby match on that day. It was a Saturday. I think, if I remember right, a Saturday, probably be the 20th, maybe the 21st, I can't remember. And I probably could check, but I've been talking for too long anyway. And yeah, I tried everywhere. I could get a place in inn, but it was last minute, so it was 300, 400 euro for a room. Like, I'm not doing that. So I went to the Red Cow um Lewis parking spot, and there's a bus shelter. So I went to there and I stayed there all night. Just stayed awake. Here are my steps, final steps. Totally wrong when I did the calculations, unless I got a car at one point. So I waited for a green bus to get me back to Ennis. You can see Ennis in the background there. I was wrecked. I met some of the local wildlife. There was a pack of dogs that came up at one point, about 15 of them. They wandered around and sniffed. They came down like a little track, and they sniffed about, came up to us, sniffed about and left. And there was some dogs with collars on, so they must join this gang at night. And there was a guy who was most likely on heroin or something, but he was acting very strange, waiting with me. It was nice, but Jesus, no, I didn't want to deal with it. I just after walking about 60 kilometers or so, and didn't sleep all night. Got on the bus, fell asleep immediately. The last stop is Ennis, so it wasn't too bad. This is me on my birthday 2 days later. Got absolutely slammed, let's say. Yeah, this is what I looked like after the walk. And this is what I looked like before the walk. I had a bit of a belly on me, that was totally gone. I carb loading, let's say. Carb loading for absolute years. So that's most of the trip. I probably left a lot out, but the video was going on long enough anyway. I thought this would be done yesterday, but I'm here on Sunday at 4:15, still working on this video. I still have a bit more editing to do. So it should be out today. It'll just be a bit late. Like and subscribe. Do all that good stuff. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye. Wink. Skibbity boop da ba da boop ba ba boop dee ba da bow.